Wonderful. Back to planet Earth. Wow, I mean, talking about the future.
How can we top that?
I don't know, but I'm definitely not going to say that we're more predictable in SEO. Like, that is not true. Thank you for staying with us. We're not going to be so futuristic and so interesting, probably, but we're going to be talking about something very useful. I am Ivana Flynn. I will be moderator for this panel. I have fantastic panelists, and we'll be talking about SEO, search engine optimization. That's our bread and butter. And we'll be talking about all the things that are changing in SEO in 2024, and oh my God, it's changing. So I will kindly ask my panelists to introduce themselves, and then we slowly get into it.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you all. My name is Warren, and I've been doing SEO for 13 years now. I'm currently head of SEO at ST Media. We're an agency, and we provide marketing services to a number of customers in gaming.
Thank you. So it's my turn. My name is Vasily Gamov. I'm Chief Marketing Officer at 888 Stars betting and casino operator. We do a lot of iGaming websites. We do a lot of satellite websites. I also work on some affiliate websites. So kind of know something about SEO. So I'm going to share it.
If you didn't know anything about SEO, I wouldn't have invited you. So he does. I know him for a while.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris Mawson, Head of SEO at ICS Digital. Like Warren, I work on the agency side, supporting both operators and affiliates with full spectrum of SEO strategy. I think we'd like to thank Zoltan for scheming with Google to come out with one of the most significant updates in many years just ahead of the conference. So plenty to talk about today.
Hello, my name is Vadim, doing SEO since 2003, more or less. Not a cyborg, normal person, connected to SEO. Now, CEO of Mamuta Media. We do black hat PPC for iGaming brands, affiliates, and so on. So if you need traffic in non-regulated markets, talk to me after the panel.
I need to ask, any of you feeling like cyborgs? I mean, I'm questioning. I have so much Botox and fillers that maybe I am.
It depends.
You know?
It depends how you define.
Exactly.
It depends.
I mean, you couldn't say, but I was judging because my face doesn't move with all the Botox.
We are connecting.
I was judging.
We are connecting to our smartphones, you know.
Yeah, maybe you are cyborg, yes.
I am a cyborg.
Good, so what has changed so far? As you said, this is in a fantastic time because Google is rolling one of the biggest algorithms. I'm in SEO for 16 years, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? They're changing everything. They're changing the game. We have SGE coming. Google has got a new head of search that is predicting, because she is the architect of SGE, that more and more search is going to look like SGE. Now people are complaining about the SGE that was finally taken out of laboratories to a normal search environment that is spammy and is inaccurate. And we're going to cover all of this and how to prepare for this if you are in SEO, and what have we seen through March, and what we expect when it stops rolling, how it's going to end up. So shortly, AI content is being attacked from left and right, because last year Google said, hey, AI content is fine, just go ahead. And as SEOs being SEOs, we started to abuse it. It's our nature to push it to the limits, and Google is like, okay, no, this is too much. And they started to roll an update to tell us that we've done too much. What have you seen so far in the SERPs in our field? From the AI cleanup, have you seen much?
I mean, from sort of looking through some of the sites online, particularly when it comes to link building, I've seen some sites completely tank. Like from one day to another, be it a manual penalty, be it all the traffic suddenly goes down. So sort of Google has certainly dropped the hammer. As to which sites it's deciding to penalize and not, it's still not clear to me whether there's a particular pattern with that. So starting from like helpful content update back in September, October, we started to see changes that are very hard to isolate what the particular issue is. It seems that this is like an evolved update of that. And I would also do a bit of a distinction with English sites and non-English sites, as Google seems to have probably a bit of a better understanding of AI content and language in general when it comes to English, but non-English sites, it seems that the pattern is a bit different.
I think, yeah, just to kind of add to the types of sites we're seeing, I guess, punished more so than others. Certainly from my experience, affiliates seem to be taking the brunt of a lot of the updates, and I think, you know, there's manifold reasons for that, but I think one of the main things we saw with the release of the helpful content update was, you know, sites almost becoming formulaic in how they were producing content. Essentially looking to create content to please Google rather than to please the users, which I think has now come back to bite a little bit with the latest March update. For example, a lot of affiliate sites were doing things like creating table of contents at the top of the article. Google's initially said, yeah, great, that's providing, you know, the ability for users to jump from one section to another. This week they've come out and said, no, don't add table of contents, like you shouldn't be doing this. So, yeah, I think based on the more informational nature, certainly I've seen affiliate sites take that hit when it comes to, you know, product reviews, gaming reviews. But yeah, certainly not exclusive to those, as you said.
Yeah, AI, we spoke about it a year ago here in Prague, yeah? Now, AI is a great tool for SEOs to manipulate with results. And I believe we will continue to manipulate, okay? If you see that your website or a network of your website was penalized, that means that you did something okay, that you know how to manipulate, it's good. Because Google will never actually penalize anyone who is not doing something that works, okay? There is no any, let's take an example of most popular manipulation right now with the traffic. When you manipulate with the traffic to your website, Google will never penalize you, because why would Google penalize you for the traffic, okay? They can penalize you for links, for AI content and so on. So I believe we will see more and more AI as a good tool for SEO. Now it's the question how you will use it, what you're gonna do with it, yeah? If an operator, even before AI, a big operator website, we never created a content for users. Nobody is reading this, yeah, I'm telling it year after year, nobody will read it, these reviews for slots and so on. So we are writing it for search engines, for Google, and we will continue doing it. And at the end, there is a war right now for traffic. So Google wants more traffic, Google wants for people more to click on these ads. That's it. They don't care about SEO, they don't care about anything, they care about their income from PPC. So think about it, how you can help Google make more money, and you will be #1 in any SEO.
Yeah, I can totally agree with this point of view. It totally depends on the user's behavior, first of all, on the website. When you create AI-generated websites, it works like kinda good, like for the first months after this everything appears. But after that, what we figured out, it's like dead, totally dead. And content should be generated finally by copywriters. So you can implement some parts of AI, like for introduction or something, to add some water, I would say, in your article. But what for? Because the behavior and bounce rate on AI-generated sites, like really awful thing, and you should work on behavioral patterns, you should work on the time of what the user spent on the page, where he clicked and so on, so totally agree with this point. And that is what I figure out not only from iGaming websites, but from affiliate websites, from other media websites, because I work in several industries. That's everywhere like that.
I suppose a question to you and fellow panelists, apologies Ivana taking your job here, but I suppose with all of that in mind, what we have seen in the last couple of months is Google actually paying smaller publishers around $10,000 to actually use its AI as sort of beta testers, but part of the deal there is actually a requirement for the sites to publish up to 3 AI-generated articles per day. So, you know, I suppose if we're saying, you know, AI should be used to support rather than create content, why is Google rewarding that sort of behavior?
I think they just do some tests, that's it.
Google lives on testing.
Yeah.
I mean, even after this, they may be just testing how amazing they are in detecting AI, and then SERPs will come back to normal. I mean, it happened. We will see.
Yeah, we already saw like a lot of stuff by Google, like Google Glasses, Google Plus, and whatever. They just tested it for a while, like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and just drop it. So probably it's the similar case here.
One thing I would add to what you said, because yes, ultimately content and user experience on the page is important, but a website typically has many pages with different intents. So I would argue, yes, for your money pages, where you want people to deposit, for your main product pages, those probably AI has sort of less value, and there's sort of the human touch is more important. But where AI comes into play is if you want to build a supporting network of pages underneath that section to really help you scale up and push internal links automatically and create a whole workflow that really scales up production in such a way that humans just cannot keep up with that workload, then there is still that value of AI. And maybe
does it work for you? Like
it does in some cases, yes. I wouldn't say with English language websites, as I mentioned before, but it does help when it comes to creating certain patterns for internal linking from a sub-page to a top page, and creating sort of very specific niche topical articles that in reality have very little search volume, very specific amount of people are searching for. So that even the importance and quality of that page, it might not be that high even for Google. But if it's helping you, I mean, yes, Google is saying build your content for users. But we've been doing SEO for Google for all these years, and we'll probably still keep doing that.
Because Google is our biggest client.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
we are doing SEO for our clients. I mean, by all means.
Absolutely, yeah. I think one sort of move that we're seeing over the last few months is kind of a healthy dose of cynicism from people in the industry towards what Google's saying versus what they're doing. And I think, it's a mindset that we've kind of moved away from a little bit over the last few years with, helpful content, EEAT, and kind of an obsession with catering to that. But I think now, when Google's saying, well, don't do AI content, don't do this, don't do that, but then they're striking, $60 million deals with Reddit to give them access to their, full data API and things like this. Yeah, it's. I suppose the previous answer was, Google's constantly testing, but I guess for us working in the industry, it's about us testing and seeing, if we can kind of contradict what Google's saying with the results we're yielding.
True. I actually observed, because I track a lot of things, and I read from Lily Ray as well, that smaller websites or newer websites were more punished than the big names. And I can agree, because some websites that were even good suddenly disappeared, and websites that are there forever, big names, even with lots of AI content, are doing extremely well. So I don't think Google knows what they're doing, once again. So AI content, does it have a future or not? Probably not in English-speaking
yes.
markets, but we still use it.
Absolutely, yes. I think we will see more. We always forget about the hardware of this part of the AI, because what stops right now the AI to be more human-like is the hardware that they use, all the AI companies like NVIDIA and Microsoft and so on. So once we'll see more advanced technologies in hardware, we'll see human-like results in AI, and we will use it, absolutely. It's cheaper.
Yeah, completely agree. I think it's very much cat and mouse, and ultimately the only way Google's going to be able to tell if content is AI generated is, certain flags and signals, and as it becomes easier to kind of obfuscate those or get around it, I think it's going to have a tough time. So yeah, for me, it definitely has a future, but I think it, as said, the language processing in non-English markets has got a way to catch up to be able to detect it quicker.
Yeah, but it also, the question is, for sure, there is some future for AI, but the question is here, what part of the market it's going to take? And I don't believe like the biggest part, maybe some smallest part, maybe 30% or something for stuff like that.
Yeah, I think considering it in target audience terms, maybe the top of the funnel with your informational, educational queries, it can substitute a lot there, but ultimately, when it comes to your product and transactions, there is talk about creating kind of a unified shopping cart experience within, SGE, but, it's not going to replace, the touch and feel of a product or service. So, yeah, I agree.
We're still, though, at the very beginning of all of this, right? So, I mean, they're already talking about GPT-5 being available sometime around June, which is going to be, I don't know how many times better than the current implementation. So I think it will also be a gradual change as customers and individuals start using it and integrating AI more into their lives. So we typically see this with how people are behaving when technology removes a particular barrier. So we had, I don't know, in social media, Facebook first, you need to add a person to interact. In Instagram, then you just follow them. Now on TikTok, you don't even need to follow anyone because the algorithm already knows what you want to see. So once people start to use AI to do the big bulk of their search, then I think we will have to also find ways to integrate it more. Because even as Ivana said, Google is testing SGE now in the US since a week or so.
A week or two, something like that.
So they're already gathering data for how are people going to interact with this. And we know that AI can hallucinate. So on one hand, Google is telling us, okay, your content needs to have EEAT and be trustworthy and so on, but it's publishing AI content directly to its users itself. So, you know, it's kind of they're doing one thing and saying another as well.
Yeah, and you know, to the point, I think obviously the hardware technology side is kind of a limiter to how fast thing goes, but the other important thing to consider is, as well as search, you know, Google is by far the largest advertising publisher on the web as well, so they're not going to push forward with anything that takes away their core revenue streams. And I think, you know, some modeling's come out, it'd be costing them billions of dollars a year if they were to go full scale with SGE, you know, next month. So I think, yeah, there's going to be a lot of give and take. There's going to be a lot of further changes to ultimately, yeah, get as much advertising revenue out of the user as they can before they go full steam ahead with, you know, that innovative approach.
True, and SGE is coming. SGE for now does not have any advertising in it, so Google will be losing money because we know they're making, what, $162 billion a year on PPC ads, right? How many? 36 billion on programmatic ads. And if they just don't have any advertising in the box, at least for now, and they push all the results further, who's going to create the content, where they're going to place this, who's going to... I think as well, they cannot really take all your traffic because who is going to create the traffic or create the content they steal for the SGE box, right? It's coming from us. How do you feel about SGE? I know it's not going to really touch casino results because we know it's covering 87% of the searches, which casino, adult, pharma are not one of them. But if Google realizes that there is money, maybe it will be. How do you feel about this coming? Are we scared? Are we not? Is SEO dead?
Not
That's
at all.
for him.
You
He loves
gonna
to
answer?
question.
Take your place. Yeah.
Only pessimistic, I would say, future for it. I believe that Google, for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, for the first time, Google is responding for something big that is happening in the industry. Let's talk what happened a year or so with OpenAI and ChatGPT, and then Google suddenly started to respond to this, and they, for the last year, all the updates from Google, they were creating a chaos in SEO. And for the first time, we in the industry were asking, like, what's going on? It's not like the Google it was before, because they are responding and not deleting the change or the innovation, as usually what they did. So I believe in the normal search that we know, they will be number one for you know, for the rest of the life of SEO. But the next step probably will be some I don't know, some new innovative way on how to search, maybe not to search, maybe to ask. That's why we were talking about this asking engines, not searching. So, and AI and everything will definitely play a huge role here. But again, it's all about the hardware thing. And if you would like to invest in some stocks, think about NVIDIA and all other stuff, because that's probably that's the future. And for SEO, I'm doing SEO since 2003. I've never seen such a chaos again in SEO and no stability in SEO at all. If let's say you would like to create a new website, if you would like to create a new business, if you would like to invest in new business, so before that you would think, okay, I will invest in SEO because it's stable, yeah, because there is an asset, because I'm investing in website, I'm investing in content, in authority. Not anymore, I think. Not anymore. I believe it's easier and more practical and more ROI, I would say, in PPC, because you control everything. In SEO, we stopped control anything, like, and that's the future and present, I think. Sorry.
I think in the shorter term, those times of instability that you spoke to will kind of lead to a race to the bottom in some respects. So we'll see, I think pretty old school tactics coming back into the forefront. In the short term, we've spoken a little bit about Reddit already. What we've seen following the update is sites like Reddit, Quora, very user-generated platforms are seeing them being promoted in a search regardless of the quality of the content on those sites. So I think we'll start to see brands leaning back into that. If they're doing everything Google says they should be doing, and the sites are still being de-indexed, then they're going to be very quickly turned off to, white hat or best practice when it comes to SEO. It's going to be what the quick win tactics we can do. They'll work for a month, they won't work next month, and we'll kind of see, I suppose, older school methods coming back to the surface, at least until Google sorts all of this mess out.
That is very sad news. I mean, wow.
To be honest, I don't agree with Vadim about that. Some pessimistic forecast predictions.
He's
whatever.
always pessimistic.
This is not
don't
new.
you know him?
This is
Yeah,
not new.
I'm more
Vasily.
optimistic
He
about
works
it.
with PPC more, so take it with a grain of salt.
I also in the industry for some time, and what I figure out that Google do such tests like already for several years, 10 years plus, and it always ends. So right now it's like some chaotic era or unstable era, whatever you call it. So and after that, what we figure out, to make a good like this SGE content, we need to create a good prompt like in ChatGPT. And good prompt doesn't mean like 2, 3, or 4 words or one question. It means like the description, the role of and so on. So it's never gonna be like that in search. Instead, it's gonna be like one-to-one similar to ChatGPT. So this is the first point. The second point is about content generating. If the whole traffic will go to SGE results, who gonna write the content? Who gonna make money on it? Nobody. So, and there will be no content for SGE, so SGE results will be not up to date, so not useful at all. So unfortunately, I don't see the future for this technology for usual queries for desktop using, but probably there is still some space for voice helpers like Siri or Alexa. It works, because when I use Siri or Alexa and ask it, oh, your question is complicated, I'm gonna send you several links. Probably for this stuff, it's gonna help, but for usual queries, I don't believe at all.
Plus, I don't think SEO will be that per se, because we will need to learn how to optimize for SGE or for AI technologies, which is very similar to SEO, but it's not exactly the same. Where in SEO we concentrate on keywords, here we're more going to concentrate on products and use more product listing. We can use more schema to push our results, which is, it's more conversational rather than oriented to CTAs. It's more awareness. So I think we will need to change the way we optimize. I don't think we're going to fully go to the black hat again. I mean, come what may, but I hope not. And as well, SGE, it's going to give you answers. For me, it's like, and I haven't interacted with it enough, just a little bit, because I don't live in USA, and just when it comes here, I'll study it more. But it's like position 0 on steroids. You scroll down if you don't get your answer, if there's nowhere to follow up. If you want to play casino, you still need to go to a website to play the slot game or interact with a live roulette. Maybe for affiliation is going to be a little bit different if you're looking for an answer. I don't know what is blackjack, and you don't know, so maybe, but I think we will just optimize differently. We will see that informational queries are better than these queries, so you will just optimize your different pages. And as well, I think in this, if content is a king, then context is a queen. We will need to stop creating fluff. We will just need to create what the context of question is, so you can answer directly with a quality king of a content, right?
I think, a point that you mentioned is we need to optimize for SGE, but that is still, at this point, unclear as to what criteria is Google considering when it is generating that content. Because you also mentioned that the content is needed for it to generate content, but who is that content going to come from? Is it going to come from big established brands that are to a certain degree trustworthy? And if we look at consumer behavior in general, people do trust bigger brands than maybe smaller brands.
In parallel, Google pay a lot of attention to this ETA, so trust, authors, LinkedIn, whatever, Reddit, maybe Quora.
It is
for sure,
basically-
we can scan.
Yeah,
we
it is
can
basically
tweak it.
created for SGE, so
Yes.
you know that this is really human-like answer, so we're going to use it and steal it for our SGE. It is a measure for that, and I think that's going to be easy to fake. How difficult is going to be buy a Reddit account or a LinkedIn account, or just create one? We can fake it. We're SEOs, we're going to bend the rules till they break, and then we bend something else, right? That's our job.
Reddit, you don't even need an email to create a Reddit account. So anyone can create. The amount of bots on Reddit is insane. The amount of bad content on Reddit is insane. But somehow Google is now deciding to prioritize that. I think even, I was actually talking to Martin yesterday, and we discussed the importance of brands. And a lot of companies, sort of in the last few years, because we could manipulate SEO so well, we had a very SEO-centric strategy. Whereas now, in the sense, we're kind of going a bit back to a more 360 kind of marketing mix, where the brands is more important because of EAT, because people need to recognize a name to trust. And probably so does Google. It needs a brand it can trust to generate the content from a reliable source.
Yeah, I think we've seen that go kind of the wrong way as well, haven't we, in recent months? So, for example, Forbes.com, Harvard ranking for things like best VPN, best online casino. So there definitely is, I think, some rebalancing. And, as you said, as Google said, whilst EAT is really important, they're not quite there yet in terms of author attribution. So instead, they're looking at the site authority as a whole, which is it's worked until it stopped working. But I suppose just doing a bit of a 180 from this, obviously we've been talking throughout about Google. I think this time last year we made a very bold prediction that TikTok was the search engine to kind of watch, and I think
that was Aurimas. He's not here for a certain reason, obviously. We predicted it all wrong.
And whilst that's not quite come to fruition, I think we are seeing Google looking outwardly for inspiration as well, and learning more about how users are searching. So whilst TikTok, I guess, isn't an essential threat to web search as we know it, do you think there's more, I guess, that Google will take from that for SGE?
But I think Google is trying to become a huge social media with all these hidden gems and nodes and like buttons, and now Reddit partnership, which is in a way creating all new level of parasite SEO, because they realize that the new generation, not us, the new generation, they are on TikTok and they love videos and short answers. So they're trying to do that. It's just, it does not work because old people like us use Google, right? So I think they are not getting it right this time.
I would like to add something here. SEO is manipulation, yeah? We're manipulating with Google. And we've been doing it for the last 20 plus years. I think it's a revenge from Google right now that Google will manipulate with our knowledge, because SGE is all about manipulating our knowledge, because you've been asking, okay, where they will take this knowledge from? Us, without even asking.
That's why they let us go so rogue for so many years,
So again, they need more technology to but we also started with manipulating, 20 years ago, it was enough to buy link on Demos. I don't know if anyone here knows what is Demos. Nobody knows. But back then, 20 years ago, it was very popular catalog of all the websites. So they are started to manipulate. They will be more and more sophisticated with this, and that's the revenge of Google to us, to SEOs. Get ready.
Maybe, but I think it's going to really depend on a result, how you interact with it. Like maybe I will trust some results in the SGE box by bot telling me like, this is what you need to do. But if I'm in Prague and I don't know Prague that well and I want to go to eat to a restaurant, I'm not going to rely on some bot that never eaten in its life. I'm going to go to some blogger that is a normal human and I'm going to read
You will never know it's a bot.
Yeah, but if it's going to be an SGE, you know, it's created by AI, but I would rather go to a blog and read like, okay, this was a good food, this was not good food, I got salmonella there, please don't go there. Bot doesn't get salmonella.
But because you know right now, working in this field, how bad SGE is.
Yeah.
So
We are not normal,
to
yeah,
the
we're not
average, public who doesn't work with technology as much as we do, they see this technology and they get that wow factor. I was talking to a friend of mine. He works in the psychology field and he's excellent in his field. And I was showing him, I had a chat with ChatGPT. I was telling her, I have anxiety, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. And ChatGPT comforted me. This person was amazed, didn't question what the technology was showing. He's good at his field, but he doesn't understand what happens with AI. I think the general public, as we've seen what happened with social media scandals, Facebook was spying on people. It didn't really stop people from using their technologies. So
We just published better pictures,
that convenience that AI will provide to the end customer will make the end customer use it, because people are lazy. I mean, I'm lazy. I will use AI for certain things as well, but because I work in this field, I question it. I can understand to a certain degree. But I think the general public won't. So it's also, particularly with sensitive topics, we also have the responsibility to create content that is good and that, AI can take and sort of not abuse in a way.
I don't think we know if people are going to trust it or not. I don't think Google knows. So I think Google will measure how people actually interact with the SGE, and if they are still scrolling down for certain questions or for certain queries and finding an actual website, then I think it will stop appearing in SGE. And if certain ones are getting more popular in SGE, they'll try to populate that. But we know SGE for now, it's 10 results and they are links. Right now the goal is to get to that link, right? And for now, I read a lot about it and people are actually reporting that it's extremely spammy. That again, the bad, spammy and parasite SEO results are getting there. So parasite SEO is another huge thing that Google is fighting right now. If you don't know what is parasite SEO, because you are not one of us, it's basically abusing an authority and trust and a name and traffic of an existing website and adding something completely unrelated, in our case, casino. So there is rtl.de, right? A huge TV, and they have got jackpots.rtl.tv and they score. So basically what I saw, and I reported it on LinkedIn was scoring for things like best bonuses for Easter and PayPal casinos, Canada and whatever. And Google actually got to it. I think a lot of people were, and 30% of the Pulse results actually disappeared from the SERPs. I was very happy about it because that is a pure abuse of LinkedIn. At least pay for your parasite SEO, this was for me one step too far. How do you feel about parasite SEO considering that Google is doing it at the same time with Reddit?
I think it's very interesting that when the March update was rolled out, Google announced they were looking to crack down on parasite SEO. However, they almost put sites under notice that it was going to take them 2 months to basically get their house in order and clean up. And, that to me implies two things. First of all, their algorithm isn't going to be great at detecting it. Second of all, they are heavily reliant on a minority of sites for all of that ad revenue we were talking about before. So they don't really want to piss them off too much. So, based on what we've seen so far, yes, we have seen some cleanup. But I think we're going to have to wait till, was it May, I believe, they've announced, is when they're going to start manually cracking down on it. I think we kind of have to wait and see who comes worse off there. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Reddit get even more of an uplift off the back of the partnership worth 60 billion a year.
Absolutely. But parasite SEO works, and I think the obvious ones might get cleaned up. For now, I see in the SERPs where all the smaller AI websites, I don't even know they're AI, all the smaller websites disappeared. Parasite, that was position 5, 6, suddenly 1, 2. I mean, especially English-speaking markets, that's what I track. On the other markets, parasite is not moving. I think on the other markets, parasite will flourish. I think it's something to look into if you are in Polish market, for example, Google doesn't give a flying toss about it,
But
right?
It's for you and for us, it's parasite. For normal people, it's a normal
It's
search.
a Google
They
result,
don't
yeah.
know. They don't know. They cannot say that this result is not good. It's not good for you. I think parasite SEO is, I like it.
I hate it because I didn't come up with it, but other than that, it's an amazing idea.
I get a lot of inspiration from these results, you know, to understand that, say, in New Zealand, they're using a lot of popular newspapers to push. It's interesting. It's very creative. It's very creative because with the years, SEO become more technical and less creative. And this parasite SEO techniques is actually more creative, and I like it. And it's abuse. It's manipulation. That's SEO. That's fine.
I guess it's also a necessity in some markets as well, where gambling is very black market, and Google is removing operators from the SERPs as well. That creates much more of a kind of open playing field for parasitic efforts to see success for branded search in particular.
But it always was like that. There was always a way for parasite SEO, abuse, manipulation, whatever you call it. Just nowadays, there is a lot of it because we see some testing period in Google, and that's it. We can call it even search engine reputation management, this part for Reddit. So it's always like that, just a period when you can do a lot of tests and get great results. So don't miss the opportunity, I would say.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think parasite SEO is going to disappear the next day. So would you still recommend, if you want to make a quick buck, would you still recommend people to try it, go for it? I would. I told my sister, like, why don't you do it in Slovakia? Why don't you sign up Slovak casinos? No one does it here. I actually thoroughly searched. Why don't you do it?
For sure you can do it.
And I love my sister, okay? I wouldn't want her to do anything bad.
You can manipulate, you can do whatever you want because it works, it's business, finally. For sure I would recommend to be transparent, like honest and so on with your audience, but it works. Keep it in mind, and
I
if
always
it can
think you
help,
try it and it works till it doesn't, and what you lost,
it's
maybe
moral,
nothing.
so everybody should decide for themselves. There is an opportunity.
I think it kind of comes back to that level of cynicism, and historically people have been terrified of doing things Google says they shouldn't do. I think that's definitely evening up as people are getting the hands burnt by successive updates. Like, well, if nothing I'm doing is working so far, then why don't I give this a try? So yeah, I think it's definitely still got legs.
It definitely still works. Still, you see these kinds of sites and even expired domains, for example. I still see expired domains ranking. They do have SEO value. So, I mean, when have we ever listened to Google when it tells us, don't buy a link? It's just a different technique. It still works to this day. We still have to see the end of the March update. It still has a few days, and then there will be probably corrections after that update. And given the last 6 months of Google updates, we'll probably have like an April algorithm update at this point. So yeah, for now, for me, it's still business as usual because I see these techniques still working very effectively.
I think yes, and for the future we'll see even more old school black hat SEO techniques like backdoors and everything, edu domains and so on. That's very nostalgic, at least for me. But yeah, we'll see more and more because it's more it's like fast results that we've been always asking by our clients in SEO. Yeah, they always asking, show me the fast results. So that's the fast results. Yeah, that's very fast. And then the client, they can come and say, okay, you know what? I don't believe in this stable SEO for years and everything. I want now, show me the tactics, show me the strategy for fast results, and that's one of the tools, so why not?
And now let's be a little bit of SEO criminal minds. What do you think is going to be next? What's going to get abused next? Because as we say, SEO is all about abuse. What's going to get abused next? I think I think we're going to people going to start, I already saw it on LinkedIn, I would buy in seasoned LinkedIn profile, obviously for eat. So I think we're going to start to manipulate what Google is saying that are important signals.
I think traffic manipulation, manipulation.
Maybe you can explain traffic manipulation.
Traffic manipulation, let's say you have a website, very popular website, but you struggle to rank for specific keyword, very hard keyword, very popular and competitive one. So you can ask someone. By the way, I knew exactly the person who does it, so if you need, talk to me. It works like fantastic. And this person will generate fake traffic to your website and send fake signals to Google. Then Google will think, wait a minute, this page, something is going on. Let me be, I don't know, let's try to push this website, and it works. And I saw results within an hours, not even days, not even week, hours. And that costs a lot, but still, it's all about the ROI. So I think more and more manipulation with fast results. That's the future.
You talk about bot traffic generation, something like that?
I don't call them bots.
It wouldn't actually be botted. So Google would not be able to differentiate from an actual user to this fake traffic, and on Google Analytics, you see it as organic traffic.
I mean, even there is no need to make it with bots, because you can set up a campaign with Google Ads with special events like click here, click on the button, conversion value optimization, they call it, and it works. Yeah. I see it's working right now on several projects. So.
But I also agree with Vadim. I think traffic and engagement on your money pages and on the sub pages supporting that is where you see the best results and the fastest way as well.
I think kind of away from on-site and looking at off-page SEO, one of the strategies that is increasing in traction now, particularly as we were saying, that small number of super high authority newspaper sites, for example, gain traction, is them increasingly looking to get a piece of the pie. So I think we as SEOs see a lot of value in organic link building through digital PR. What I think we're going to start seeing is, you know, more and more money exchanging hands between those publishers and PR companies for so-called guaranteed links. That's something that I think is quite untapped at the moment, but I think commercially it just makes sense, and we'll see, I suppose, digital PR, you know, kind of blurring the lines with paid link building a lot this year.
Well, traffic is a ranking signal. We know it from the Google leaked data. Links are a ranking signal, so I definitely think that Google will go this way. We have a few more minutes. Do you have any question for our panelists, or we just carry on? Any questions about AI, SGE, anything that we didn't maybe clarify or caught your interest? Yes, we have a question. Yes.
So, great panel, love everything you're saying, but people are lazy. Let's focus on that a little bit more. I agree, but how long will it take, or will it ever happen that the user starts to trust AI and make decisions for them? It's still that the user wants to have at least some feel of control, that they know that they're making a choice themselves, you know? We're not yet in
I totally agree with you, and I'm a person that will never trust AI, but some of my panelists are a little bit more AI optimistic here. So what do you think?
From
Future cyborgs, they got inspired.
So I think when AI gets baked into a product that people already trust, that process to trust AI will become much shorter. So if you go on Google search today, in Europe you're not going to find AI. But let's say they start testing SGE, and you're seeing that Google, a reputable company that's on everyone's iPhone, on everyone's Android, baked into the operating system, baked into how people are used to use technology right now, that process to trust it will become, I think, much shorter. Because we see the same behavior even in social media. That's how they pick up so fast. It's because there are companies that are trustable, they introduce a new technology, and suddenly, if it makes people's lives easier, they're just going to run with it.
Yeah, it's connected to the quality of this SGE content. So if it's going to help them, for sure they will use it. But what I see right now, this ChatGPT, SGE, whatever, it's not like an expert level. For me, it's not enough. For simple people, for sure, for some of them, it's going to be enough. I would say 10, maybe 20% of the audience.
I think more than that.
I mean,
think about how many people, probably we've all done it. Have you all searched on Google for symptoms that you were feeling? A headache, my leg is hurting, my knee. We all self-medicate.
I'm basically dead according to you.
I mean, we trust that stuff. We would go to WebMD maybe, because WebMD is the trustable source.
And by the way, we trust not because this is the best result, because this result has the best SEO. That's
and
it.
it's easy, yeah.
That's it. And then speaking about the trust, the amount of fake information we see online, and normal people, not like people who knows how to question everything. People believe everything today. You can create fake websites. You can I don't know. You can start a war today using internet, and everything, all this propaganda and so on. I really hope, and this is something that's very optimistic for me. Usually, I'm very pessimistic, but I really hope that AI will help us to fight this fake news, to fight this thing that we actually can destroy our lives and everything, and I believe it will happen. But the question, who will control it? I don't know.
But I think that's what Google is trying to do with the helpful content updates and with EAT and all of this AI removal. They're trying to go for the quality. It's just, can they recognize quality? Well, it is a psychological fact that the first thing we hear, we trust and we believe it's truth. Then it takes us time to actually discover it might not be true or might be differently, but first thing you read or you hear, you just adapt it as your truth. So that's the problem of seeing some result that might be completely skewed.
Yeah, I do think it'll be gradual in the types of search as well that lend themselves to AI. So I guess, the healthcare, for example, would be one of big concern. Anything very emotive or political, I think we'll see, hopefully we'll see a level of responsibility from the likes of Google when it comes to displaying AI results for those types of searches. But, ultimately, no matter what results you're seeing, whether you think you've got kind of control over what you're reading or not, there is that level of manipulation there either way, isn't there?
True, we all have some propaganda. Have we answered your question?
Yeah, I have a follow-up comment if you don't.
Oh, good. Go ahead. You still have a minute.
How long will it take for us to be able to still recognize whether it's an AI or because at some point that's also becoming very thin line.
True, I mean, for now I can recognize AI easy when I read it because I understand it easily. English is not my first language, so if I understand it, I'm like, okay, you're AI, you're a friend. If it's from human, you have all these feelings like, I think, I feel, in my opinion, it's fantastic, it's ugly. ChatGPT just tells you the facts, right? So if it starts to put some feeling into it or start to be funny, then I think it's going to be much more difficult to detect. But for now, I can recognize very easily the bad AI content. What do you think?
It depends on the prompt, totally. You can add to the prompt, be funny, be like
I know, but the
good
very
one.
basic AI content is right now.
Add, in my opinion,
facts.
add up to my mind and so on, and it's gonna be like real human. So it's hard to detect, but as I told, expertise. If you have expertise in some field, you will sure detect the AI. If you have no expertise, if you like normal people, not like us, so I think you will not figure out it's AI or not.
I guess for me, a slightly more optimistic view. So I think, that emotional intelligence is going to be the hardest thing to replicate. So I can't see it, I suppose, on the horizon where there's no system capable of detecting AI.
I think it's gonna take some time and it's gonna be there.
What do you think? I mean, you probably have an opinion if you have a question.
I hope soon you will never be able to distinguish between AI and not, and that will be the, good news, I think. I think it's good in the end.
Considering the computing power that NVIDIA just recently presented, we're gonna get very close that you won't be not even.
There's a movie you should watch, Ex Machina. It's like, similar vibes.
It's a really good one. Let's not go there. Good. Any more questions? Anyone? Oh, yeah, we have a question.
Second one to your question, the EU regulation will soon introduce the requirement to transparently inform consumers that they are communicating with AI and will require marking of AI-generated content. How can you imagine that, and in my personal opinion, without the level of detailed technical knowledge, it can be very difficult to actually come up with a solution of marking the content that is AI generated. So my question to you
Good question.
I can
Google has this
answer,
from
I can answer.
beginning when
I think they already did something last week, yeah? They already did in European something.
Yeah.
I believe it will be very similar to the GDPR procedure, and at the end it will become a business, as usual. Someone will make a lot of money out of it, because there are fines and everything. So we will see this annoying thing is on top of GDPR. I agree, concern, blah, 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 okay. We will see, okay, I agree, I understand this is AI. I like AI, double click that you like AI, something like this. And if you don't put this kind of thing, they will fine you. That's it, that's what I think will happen.
That could be, but Google asked us from beginning when they allow us to create AI content to put on a website a clear disclaimer that we're using AI for either finding the information or creating the content. People ignored it, of course, but I never seen it on any website, even though I can clearly see it's AI that, oh wow, we're using ChatGPT. They wouldn't say that, but they asked us. So I think it'll be fair to have some filter for it so people know if they are, talking still to people or just to bots.
Yeah, but the question is to figure out whether it's AI generated or not, because not everyone will put this
Exactly, I
like
think
GDPR and
that's
so
gonna be
on
the
their website. So, and right now it's quite difficult because I generate something with ChatGPT, I go to another AI thing and I told it, okay, change these words to synonyms and so on, and go to check, and it's told, oh, it's generated by human. So it's quite easy to trick these AI checking tools also. So this is the question.
How are you still gonna find it? Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe it will be, as he said, everybody will just use it just to avoid fines, because EU is starting to fight not just AI-generated content, but AI technologies altogether, and by end of this year there should be a new law in full power to basically protect the end user from being exposed too much to AI and abuse of the AI power. Have we answered? Somewhat. Yine. Okay.
I think
I hear yes.
So I was just going to quickly add in some of the Google tests. They have been actively marking content as may contain AI, and I guess with that, it's a lot easier to kind of make a false positive rather than a false negative. So it may lead to, human written content being incorrectly flagged up, but it shouldn't do it the other way around. So that could be, I guess, one short-term option.
Cool. So AI is still a future. SGE is coming. Just be careful how you use your AI. Check twice before you trust any information online. Either it's from a bad informed human or very well informed AI. And I would like to thank my panelists. It was fantastic to share the stage with you again.
Cheers.